Hey, happy Thursday, everybody. It is chamber check-in time. And today I get to speak with the founder and executive director for the Idaho 97 project. Hi, Mike.
Hello, how are you, Paul?
I'm awesome. Hey, I
Good.
can't wait to hear your story, your personal story, a little bit of history of work and how you've formed this new organization and share that story. But first, I get to thank our sponsor for this series. It's Delta Dental of Idaho, Mike, and Delta Dental of Idaho has been providing dental insurance to Idahoans for 50 years, and their benefits are backed and designed by the largest network of dentists in the country. So I'm going to share a little fun factoid from their Tooth Truth series. Here we go.
One of the benefits to employees in having a good dental plan is that 78% of people are more likely to go in for their preventive and restorative type services. Annual dental checkups is part of prevention. People that have dental benefits are 40% more likely to schedule their routine cleaning. Preventive is so important. It keeps your mouth healthy and it keeps your overall body healthy too.
Thanks, Delta Dental. And welcome, Mike Satz from the 97% the Idaho Project. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for taking the time. I remember meeting you back in 2014 when we had our leadership conference in McCall. And you were with the Boise campus for the University of Idaho.
That's right. Yeah. And
So
yeah, I love those leadership conferences. They're great opportunities to meet folks and see what's going on in the metro area.
that's awesome. So why don't you share with me and the listeners a little bit about your history of work, and then we'll get into this new organization that you've spawned.
Sure. Actually, my professional career started off in the United States Navy. And I was enlisted and I was an officer in the U.S. Navy from quite a while ago. I hate to look back that far, right? But it was 1988 to 97, almost 10 years, 9 years and 7 months or something like that. And then I left the Navy and I went to law school. I went to the University of Michigan Law School and I became a practicing attorney in Texas. And I was a business litigation and bankruptcy attorney. So I focused heavily on business types of litigation and settlements and finance and that kind of thing. And then I became an in-house attorney for Nissan North America, where I was a corporate finance attorney, transactional attorney, contract attorney for them. And then a corporate manager there. And then I moved to Moscow, Idaho, and became a professor of law at the University of Idaho College of Law, where I taught courses like commercial law, consumer law, contracts, and that kind of thing. But I also incidentally taught critical legal studies, which is apparently a hot topic these days. And then I became an administrator with the University of Idaho. I became associate dean of the law school, interim dean of the law school, and then I became executive officer and associate vice president here in Boise. And then at the time that the University of Idaho was dealing with some of its downsizing and some other issues, I elected to take the early separation, early retirement package that they offered. And I just kind of sat low when this COVID thing kind of hit. I left in June of last year, and we were kind of in this whole COVID thing. And I just kind of sat low and observed and paid attention to what was happening. And part of that was learning some of the really divisive politics that have been going on in Idaho. And I got involved with a group of people who were involved in some grassroots efforts focused on COVID safety and getting us open safely, getting our businesses and schools and everything else going again. And in that process, we realized, hey, this is a much bigger issue. Right? This issue of COVID is really being co-opted for other political issues, which were very divisive issues. And we decided, let's start this organization. And the name actually comes from, it's a play off of, if you looked at Central District Health when they were having their meetings last year in the wintertime, And this group called the 3%ers would show up with guns and stuff like that, and try to smash the doors in and all that. And one of our people said, "But 97% of us are staying home. What's going on?" And we had a light bulb go off. Aha. That's who we are. And that's who we're going to work for. And so we started this group. And the whole idea of this group is not to focus on party, but to focus on what Idaho and Idahoans need, and not these special interests, not to tolerate some of this behavior, showing up at people's houses to demonstrate, trying to smash your way into elected officials' offices and are showing up at their houses when their children are alone. And so we started this group, and we really want to bring people together. One of the things that you see with a lot of the rhetoric around politics now is everyone's focusing on putting wedge issues and dividing people and scaring people. And we want to bring folks together around issues that most people think are very important. And we want to basically tell our politicians and our leaders, focus on what the people want and stop focusing on what special interests and other people are telling you to focus on.
Awesome. Thanks for your efforts. I'm sure it's a long battle, long road. On your website, on the top part of it, it says the 97%, and there's 3 words: courage, safety, and decency. Mm-hmm. Why don't you share a little bit more about those 3 words with me and why it's important?
Sure. So one of the tools used in politics today is fear. Right? They're trying to make you afraid. This is why they show up at people's houses. They're showing up to intimidate you. Right? They're showing up to intimidate all of us. No one wants anybody to show up at their house. I don't want them to show up at my house, although I fully expect it. But no one wants that. And it's working. The problem is it's working. It's working against people out in the community. It's working with our leaders. If anyone saw that health district meeting with the time Commissioner Laciando, and they showed up at her house with her children by herself, and like any mother, she was terrified for her children. And if you went to the Capitol at times, and there were people in the gallery with guns, and we heard from a lot of legislators that these people are here and they're kind of intimidating. And so the courage point is, let's build courage. It's not about being afraid. It's natural to be afraid. I've been in the military. I've been in very dangerous situations, and it's not your fear, but it's having the courage to stand up to your own fear, which gives you the courage to stand up to this kind of behavior. So that's where courage comes from. Safety comes from, we were founded during this COVID time, and it's actually coming back again. We have a new variant that's clearly more dangerous than the last variant. It's affecting a whole different population. It's affecting younger people much more. Our hospitals here are already filling up. And so that's where the safety really comes from, is let's do things that are good for our community and keep our community safe. And then decency, right? And that decency brings us back to that idea of there's a certain way to engage with one another. And it's not necessarily saying I'm all for civility, because sometimes people use civility to silence other people. But we still need to have expectations of the way people should behave. And what happened this week in the Capitol with Representative Giddings is an example of that. We have an expectation that our leaders will act in a decent way. And I really want to applaud members of both parties in the legislature who stood up and said, yeah, we do have that expectation. And they held the line and held the standard. But that's the kind of thing, and that's what decency is really getting to.
Okay, thanks for diving into that. It's a great explanation of some of your core values and mission statement. On your actions tab on your website, a couple of things that jumped out to me, especially the education and early childhood education. It's such an economic impact, as well as if we start early educating our kids on what's right and wrong, that'll change the world, right?
Yeah.
And our legislative leaders forum this year, Mike, was all about educating, some of the legislators on, hey, it's important to the business community that we have access to high quality childcare and an early childhood education.
Sure.
Tell me about some of those letters.
Sure. And that's one of the reasons we joined the chamber, and I was really happy to come back to the chamber because we really do have very common values in place. And sure, so you know, and one of the things that the folks at the chamber know me for from my UI time was a lot of my work in young childhood education, early childhood education, all the way through 12th grade. And the reason I was so focused on that as an associate vice president with the university, as a law professor, kind of at the end of this education chain, right, is because none of it matters if we don't have a good foundation. And this is important. And think about everything we do in life, whether it's sports, whether it's music, whether it's business. You got to have a good foundation. You have to have good bones in place to be successful. And so early childhood education and childcare, they're actually two different things, although they go actually very much hand in hand. That's the learning years. Those are the key years to providing a successful opportunity for our children. And the childcare aspect of it gets overlooked a lot, but it's absolutely critical. There's very few families that can afford to have one spouse at home. And the childcare is critical to make sure that we have these qualified workers in the workplace. And if we don't have it, then we lose half our workforce basically, or a large number of our workforce, right, for at least a period of years. And so that's why it's so important. And another thing is most Idahoans want that. Most Idahoans want the early education. They want the childcare. One, the childcare for them to be able to go and not worry about their kids while they're pursuing economic opportunities, but they also want these opportunities for their children. And what a lot of people don't understand is early childhood education relates closely to the reading scores, which then relate closely to the math scores, which then relate closely to, are you going to go to college, right? And so it's a building block system. And so that's why we're supporting it. Now, the particular things that we were involved in, you know, our governor, our legislative, our federal legislative, our congressional delegation got us money, right, from the Trump administration. They got us money to start working on this, and it was attacked. It was attacked by people who don't believe in the same thing that most Idahoans believe in, and we didn't get it, right, because they didn't want to do it, and that's just not. That's not good for Idaho. That's not good for the people of Idaho. And you know, this isn't a thing about whose party I'm in or not. Some of the most conservative Republicans in Congress got us that money, and yet other people, it didn't go with what they wanted. So they basically they killed it. Right? They made it too toxic to touch, is what they did.
Thanks for diving deep into that. I've got 3 kids. I sit on a school board. It's important to our family, early childhood education, and we just need our parents to really focus on that. It's important. Anyway,
it's what people don't really get is it's critical to their ability to get good jobs, and this is one ecosystem that we're talking about, right? It's not me, it's not you, it's not the chamber, it's not my business. It's one ecosystem, and we all need to do our part to be successful. So one of our larger employees, Micron, cannot be successful if it doesn't have students who have been trained appropriately. And all that starts at early childhood.
Yep, absolutely. Teach them how to fail early and often.
Teach them how to take risks early and often.
Yep. I love it. So, hey, as a new organization, Mike, how can we help? What are some of the things that we as a community can do to support you and what you're doing?
So, you know, first and foremost is go to our website and sign up for our newsletters. Follow us on social media, right? It's simple as that. We send out between 1 to 2 a month, just saying, hey, this is what's going on. As politics picks up and legislative session picks up, we start sending out more. We also have actions like, hey, tell your legislators to fund early childhood education or something like that, right? But also, we're going to be much more active in these upcoming election cycles, and so we'll be able to keep you informed that way in those areas. But the thing that we really need is we need support. This doesn't happen. This isn't cheap, right? I just started traveling across the state. I was just up in northern Idaho, starting to build some coalitions up there. And those cost money to get up there. We have to hire someone up there to be our coordinator to help work with the people in the communities up there. Our style isn't to roll in and take over. Our style is to find the people who are doing the work and start working with them. But you still have to have someone who is there, right? We're going to do the same thing in the east. We're going to do the same thing in the central and southwestern part. And so we need support, and you can donate to us that way. We are present in LLC, and we're looking at having a nonprofit piece of what we do. But when you donate to us, it is the donations are confidential, specifically because of this toxic atmosphere, and we don't want people to be attacked, right, for trying to do the right thing. And it's unfortunate, right? I don't like having to be in that kind of system, but we didn't dictate what the backdrop's going to be, but we have to act in a way that we can be effective in there. And so, but those are ways you can help us.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for educating us on that, Mike. And as we break from our conversation and our live stream, I really want to thank you for investing in the chamber for all the years that you've been here. Absolutely. And now in continued partnership. Really love having you part of the chamber family, Mike.
It was a very high priority of ours. So once we got established, was to join the chamber. For me, it's kind of a homecoming, right? Y'all are my pals. Y'all are my buds. I've been with y'all a long time. Yep. But also, it's a great place for me to connect with people and find out, are we doing it right? I don't have all the answers, right? But it's our community, and the chamber's a great place to do that.
Cool. Well, hey, thanks again for your time today, Mike. Thanks for your investment with us, and thanks for your efforts in the state. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a great weekend.
You too.